Hey there, boys and girls. Well, it's just about midnight. Baby's asleep. Wife's asleep. I've had a few beers in me. I'm rocking the old boots and sweatpants look, which I'm sure my wife will be terribly disappointed to find out that she missed. And we've got an angle grinder that is requiring our attention. Probably not the easiest thing for you guys to hear or see or feel, especially through the camera, but she's a little crusty. Feels like there's a bad bearing in there. We're going to switch things up for the channel a little bit. We're going to pull this thing apart and fix it and put it back together and make it great again. Now before we get started, I will tell you that if you've got a Drill Master brand angle grinder and this thing stops working on you, these are very easy to fix. Now, if you've got an angle grinder that costs more than $9.99, you may want to repair it. First thing I want to do, I want to clean this thing up a little bit, because the less amount of stuff we can get falling into the angle grinder as we take it apart, the better. Keep things clean. Carb cleaner, that sounds good. Try not to spray it into the electronics. I just want to kind of spray the top end of it here. I'm also trying out this new camera. It's a brand new camera to me, so hopefully it's looking beautiful on your end. Oh, that's what I get for using a white towel. This thing has obviously never been cleaned because it's an angle grinder. And if you clean your angle grinders regularly, you're probably a psychopath. So we're going to start by taking this back cover off here. You can see we got two sets of screws. We've got the screws for the whole head to the body here, and we've also got screws for the spindle into the head. I'm going to start by taking this off just to see which bearings are bad, and maybe we won't have to get too deep into her. Alright, that's all four of those. Now there can be some, ooh, sweet. I was going to say, that can be a little tough to remove sometimes. It can be pretty stuck. That's why they give you a little notch there to pry that spindle and bearing assembly out. But luckily we didn't have to deal with that right now. So, let's see. There also can be some shims between the housing up here and this bearing housing. And we got something here. Super thin little plastic shim, but we're going to want to make sure we put that back in. Now we've got this out. This is our spindle and bearing assembly, and no issues there. Time to go one layer deeper. So we got these screws out. We should be able to just pop out this housing now with the motor. All right, that's definitely the problem. So the issue is the bearing for the pinion that is kind of under this flange here. It's right behind the pinion in here. So that's the one we got to replace. First, let's pull out these screws. Now, this whole thing should slide out of here. Oh yeah. Okay, so there's our bad bearing behind our pinion gear there. Should be able to just loosen this nut off and then pop that bearing out. Let's see what happens. Now that we've got her held, should be able to back off this 9mm hex on this nut. This is a plastic fan back here. I don't want to snap that or else we're really but nope, we're good. That bearing's a real nice light press fit. There's our toasted bearing. Not looking great on that side. That side's not too bad. Let's see. There you go, now you can see it. Alright, so that's our bearing number 608Z. Or 608Z for you British folk. I actually have some of these lying around. Almost like I planned it. Alright, new bearing. Now we tap this guy on and we should be back in business. Oh boy. Baby's stirring. No, we're good. We're good. We're good, everybody. Baby is still asleep. Perfect. All right. New bearing on. Feels good. Let's put it back together. Almost forgot to put the pinion gear back on. Wouldn't have gone far without that. This will also help to press that bearing on, make sure that's seated. My soft jaw slipped, so I'm going to say that's the right amount of torque. Alright, now we can start assembling this again. Now I'm also going to re-grease this because she's looking a little old and tired. Alright, clean enough. Let's re-grease it. Got some, I don't know, extreme pressure grease. Seems like it'll work to me. Alright, we got some grease in there. We'll grease it a little more after the fact. Ah, crap. There's our hole that we need to go to. And there's our tab that's supposed to align in it. So, let's work this thing back out. There we go. Oh yeah. Alright, we're going to pack a little bit more grease in there just because couldn't hurt, right? I don't know. Maybe it could. Can't forget our little spacer, seal, washer, shim, whatever you want to call this thing. Now, when you're reassembling these guys, one thing to be real careful of is you don't want to damage these brushes in here when you slide this, I think it's the commutator, but anyway, this is where the brushes ride, this dark spot here. You don't want to shove this thing in here and chip those brushes. It's not good for them. So we're going to want to actually take those brushes and open them up, slide this in, and then drop the brushes on it. Alright, so that's our brush right in here. You can see it moving down there. Right down in there. So we're going to want to make sure that stays open as we slide the little motor down into it. Alright, get this guy back in here. Watch those brushes. Alright, so now you should be able to see in there that we are writing, the brushes are on it. Slid together. Now you can see that those brushes are riding where they're supposed to, but they're not damaged. And that's the important thing. Just a few more screws and this thing's ready to get back to work. Alright, slide this guy over here. And like I said, call it done. There she is. Oh crap. I forgot our little brush covers. Okay, now she's back together. Alright, that's way better. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time. That thing actually works fine, but I don't know if I want to get it. There's like bags of diapers and stuff in there. Yeah, that's actually genuinely nasty.